Though recent President-elect Obama put it on the map for many, Hyde Park is more than just the hometown of the current president. It's also the home of the Field Museum, as well as the prestigious University of Chicago, where the first atom was split. These impressive credentials aside, Hyde Park has much to offer in the way of places to see than just those mentioned destinations. I'm your host, Gary Morton. For many, Hyde Park is a home and a place where culture and diversity meets, sometimes in a sophisticated way and other times quirky. Nevertheless, it seems wherever you go in Hyde Park, art and culture are sure to follow. From the well-noted contemporary art curators to artists, to the centers learning the arts, to Caribbean cuisine, to locally owned shops, Hyde Park is truly an interesting place. In this program, we'll cover some places and see people who know all about Hyde Park in this edition of Hood's Hyde Park. With the history that spans over 100 years, a lot has happened in the way of Hyde Park. So we're going to kick off this show with a brief historical overview of Hyde Park to get a feel for the neighborhood. So sit back and get ready to learn all about Hyde Park.
A 157 years ago, a New York lawyer named Paul Cornell purchased 300 acres of property 7 miles south of what today is the Chicago Loop, thus establishing Hyde Park. Today, Hyde Park is known for its culture and diversity, and it is home to many places that are known throughout the city, such as the Museum of Science and Industry, the Art Center, and the Renaissance Society. But one of the most important of places is the University of Chicago. In 1892, John D. Rockefeller provided the initial funding for the institution. Rockefeller and William Rainey Harper, the first president of the university, hoped this school would be a force of Christian moralism in the Midwest, at the same time that it developed and promoted modern scientific research. The most distinguished academic scholars from across the world were hired in hopes of bringing in students from places other than the Midwest. Soon enough, the college became a major role in Hyde Park, and today it is known for its numerous faculty who have won Pulitzer Prizes. The other major event that put Hyde Park on the map was the Columbian Exposition of 1893, or more commonly referred to as the World's Fair. The focus of the fair was on the arts and architecture. It covered 90 acres and 201 buildings were constructed. The exposition lasted 6 months, and at this time, over 27 million people came to see the architecture, making this the most successful World's Fair to date for its overwhelming amount of people who came to visit. The people of Chicago were thrilled with this achievement. To them, it was more than just a fair. It was a symbol of how they literally risen from the ashes of the Great Chicago Fire. Soon after the World's Fair, Hyde Park would undergo a great change.
Well, after the World's Fair, what happens is there's a lot of hotels, etc., that are now abandoned because people are not coming for the World's Fair. But they quickly turned into residential hotels, and Hyde Park was a pretty affluent community. Hyde Park, like the rest of the country, went through the Great Depression in the 1930s, and of course in the 1940s the war had an impact on Hyde Park itself. But it's really after World War II that Hyde Park seems to be going down as an economically stable neighborhood, and that's when urban renewal takes place. Hyde Park was basically a white neighborhood until after World War II, and the university controlled the area around it to keep it basically white, but African Americans were moving into the neighborhood over time, and then you had a project called Hyde Park urban renewal, which removed over 900 acres of housing in the neighborhood. And instead of public housing coming in, was redeveloped either as university property. They homogenized Hyde Park. Elaine May and Mike Nichols used to say that Hyde Park was black and white were united in Hyde Park against the poor. Basically, poor whites and poor blacks were driven out of the neighborhood and their housing was knocked down. There were a lot of demonstrations. The Catholic Church condemned it. But it gives you the Hyde Park you have today.
Though controversial, the urban renewal helped make Hyde Park the safe place that it is today, allowing people of different cultures to live and thrive together. In the end, the renewal had a very positive effect on the neighborhood.
The neighborhood is very eclectic. It's very bustling and forward-thinking and liberal neighborhood that accepts all types of people from all walks of life. I love the fact that the university is here, so you get that you get a little bit of a college feel. But there's a lot to do. Many parks, the shops. It's just a good, clean community.
Hyde Park to this day is very cultural. While walking down the street, you will see tunnels filled with amazing artwork. Come see the beauty of the university's campus or get scientifically educated at the Museum of Science and Industry. So for anybody who loves the arts and cultures, Hyde Park is the place for you.
As you can see, Hyde Park has a rich history and culture and diversity, and not to mention amazing architecture. How fitting that the first black president came from such a diverse place. Up next, we head to the University of Chicago to explore the park's rich art culture.
Visualize yourself on Frequency TV.
The city,
Visualize yourself on Frequency TV.
Hi, and welcome back to Hoods, the Hyde Park edition. We're just moments away from our next segment, but first, let's talk about the Hyde Park's art scene from a historical perspective. Back in the late 60s and early 70s, Hyde Park made a place for itself by history in displaying the works of artists known as the Chicago Images. These artists included Barbara Rossi, Ed Paschke, and Christina Ramberg, among others. Their works were contemporary and pop art style. In the gallery featured in this next piece has those ties to images. Back in the day, this gallery put on exhibits displaying Chicago's Images works, and thus established itself in the contemporary art world as the Hyde Park history by doing so. So with further ado, let's acquaint ourselves with this gallery through one of the premier curators.
Chicago is acclaimed to be home to one of the 7 most influential curators in the country by the New York Times. He's not at the Art Institute or the MCA, but at a much smaller gallery in Hyde Park. Founded in 1915 at the University of Chicago, the Renaissance Society is a small gallery that has made its mission for the past 95 years to bring vanguard art pieces and performances to the Chicagoland area. Throughout its history, the gallery's walls have displayed the works of artists such as Picasso, Fernand Léger, Cindy Sherman, and more recent artists such as Helmut Jahn, Kara Walker, and Michael Otter. Critically acclaimed curator Hamza Walker has made it his life's work to keep the Renaissance Society's mission alive and the gallery at the forefront of the contemporary art world by exhibiting the latest in vanguard art.
I'd like to think that the Renaissance Society is completely a product of the university culture, insofar as our interest in contemporary art, vanguard developments, are about curiosity and about doubt and about wondering about new paradigms for thinking. We represent that spirit, that aspect of the university as it's manifest in the visual arts. If I were going to describe the gallery, I would describe the gallery as finite rather than small, or more than finite. It's very flexible. It's bigger than you think. It's hard to find, if you go to the Art Institute, for example, there is no singular gallery in the Art Institute that's 3,200 square feet. So the gallery is in fact bigger than any single gallery inside the Art Institute. So we can do things of a relatively monumental scale, right? A singular installation or project. Or we can divide it up with walls and have a perambulatory, more traditional gallery going experience. So the space can actually contract and expand as needed. It's a really, really flexible space.
Through Hamza's hard work to maintain the Renaissance Society's vision, he's gained critical acclaim in the art world. He's been featured in both local and national news, and within this past year, Hamza was awarded one of the art world's most distinguished awards, the Ordway Prize. Given to curators at mid-career, Hamza earned this award for his 16 years of curatorial work, education programs, and essays on contemporary art at the Renaissance Society.
The recognition that I've received hasn't substantially changed my life. It's allowed me to, in terms of the material conditions, I was able to get an apartment and acquire furniture recently. I never really made that significant step into adulthood in terms of creature comforts, let's say. So it did help at a very literal level in that regard.
Hamza Walker is certainly an accomplished professional, but more than any media attention or material rewards, Hamza explains what really motivates him is his passion for art.
This is a profession built on passion. That's sort of the job, is to give my passion for art a shape and structure, and the exhibitions are the outlet. Getting to work with artists is what I find most rewarding about what it is that I do. I work for artists. That's very, very, very rewarding. Nice work if you can get it.
To view the latest in vanguard contemporary art, visit the Renaissance Society at the University of Chicago. For more information on the gallery and its current or upcoming exhibits, visit them on the web at www.renaissancesociety.org. The gallery is open to the public and free of charge.
The artwork featured in the gallery looks absolutely amazing. I'm definitely going to have to go down there and check it out sometimes. And who knows when someone so influential could be found right here in our own backyard. Now just imagine Mr. Walker, one of the several interesting people and places we'll get to see today. Up next, we'll explore another one of Hyde Park's influential art locations that has a mission to make art accessible to everyone.
Do you want people to see what's going on at Columbia? Don't keep it sitting on a VHS at home. Get it out there. Frequency TV is now looking for student submissions to air all over campus on Chicago's cable channel 25, streaming online 24/7 on frequencytelevision.com. And it's easy. Step 1. All you have to do first is create something that you're passionate about. It can be short films, sketches, music videos, animation, or anything broadcast. Then what? You want people to see it, right? Well, then submit it to Frequency. Step 1, make. Then step 2, submit to Frequency. To submit, just stop by the FTV office on the 14th floor of the 600 South Michigan building or visit us online at frequencytelevision.com. Once again, step 1, make. Then step 2, submit to Frequency. Get your work shown. Visualize yourself on Frequency TV.
Visualize yourself.
Welcome back once again to Hoods, the Hyde Park edition. Hyde Park is an artistically diverse area as exemplified by its many galleries displaying the works of artists from all over the world, but no other establishment showcases this artistic diversity better than the Hyde Park Art Center. At the center, both locally and nationally, the international artists can make their temporary home while using its studios to go home to craft their style. The next featured artist is in center of the most current living artist.
In the Hyde Park Art Center lies its wondrous art gallery. Here, local artists from Hyde Park can come and put their creativity on display for all to see. The artwork varies from pictures to paintings, as well as pottery to sculptures.
Well, the nature of an art center is that it's constantly presenting different kinds of work. Exhibitions are not necessarily permanent. So you're obviously getting a different type of work that's coming through the center, throughout a year, a month, a week, a day. My understanding is that, one of its missions, I think, is that it supports local artists, it supports national artists, it supports international artists. There's an interesting practical space as well for the community, and I know that there's a lot of potters here and things like that. And as well as, I think what I do notice here actually, which is really great, is seeing a lot of young people who, I think there's a great resource, a library resource in the building, and it seems to be really great that people seem to use that, as well as the computer banks and these kind of things. So definitely a lot of activity seems to take place.
Mark Jeffrey, originally from the UK, has been working at the Hyde Park Art Center for 14 years and practices a rather unique form of art, referred to as performance art. Mark Jeffrey has been working on this project, known as the Precession, for the past 2 years. It is inspired by the winged statues located at the Hoover Dam.
2 years ago, we took an unexpected trip to the Hoover Dam. When we arrived at the Hoover Dam, we stumbled upon this sculpture, which was a dedicated sculpture when Roosevelt, FDR, dedicated the space in 1935. And what this was this map, this granite sort of sky map that he laid out onto the floor, and the idea was that if aliens were to come and to come and see this, come to the Hoover Dam, they would know exactly what time of day that Roosevelt dedicated the Hoover Dam on, which was the 30th of September, 1935. It's been a big project, but I think that when you're given opportunities, you should always take them as much as you can, and see how far you can work with imagination. And I think we're kind of ambitious people as well. So I think that's very important.
Mark Jeffrey is one of many artists at the Hyde Park Art Gallery. With so many artists and so many varieties of art, it's no wonder that the Hyde Park Art Center remains this neighborhood's top area for creative expression. So if you're looking to enjoy some unique art made in your very own neighborhood, you should drop by the Hyde Park Art Gallery.
Though Hyde Park Art Center is called home by some artists, the center has much more to offer besides its galleries. It's also a must-visit for its art classes that are open to the community. Let's take a look.
For everyone who feels inspired by the artwork displayed in the gallery, Hyde Park Art Center offers classroom after classroom where any artist of any skill level can come and learn about a wide variety of art forms.
Well, one of the great things about the Art Center is that it really serves many ages, a broad spectrum. Like I said, I teach adult classes for this artist books topic, but I also teach for a variety of programs. I've done some of the days off school programs that they offer here, and I think that's like 7 to 12-year-olds or 7 to 11 or something like that. So we get younger students that way, but the center also offers preschool classes, so as young as preschoolers, and the adult classes could have, senior citizens in them, so it's quite a range.
The Hyde Park Art Center is also known for the broad range of classes it offers. There's a class for everybody here at the Art Center.
There's a wide variety of classes. They've sort of begun organizing them into departments. So there's a painting and drawing department where they offer figure painting and landscape painting and in oils and acrylics, and then drawing classes. But then there's a huge ceramics department just down the hall, and they have lots of hand building classes as well as wheel throwing. And then there's textile stuff like quilt making. I think there's like an embroidery class as well. So it really runs the gamut.
The Art Center also offers classes in silkscreen, knitting, and jewelry making, making the Hyde Park Art Center one of the most artistically diverse art studios around. But the Hyde Park Art Center is not confined to the building in which it is housed. The mission of the Art Center is to keep the arts alive, and one of the ways it does so is by not only offering classes to the community through the center, but by bringing the classes to the people. Since 1984, Hyde Park Art Center has been bringing art to the people in Chicago by offering outreach classes in public schools, community centers, and even in nursing homes.
Well, I love visiting the Art Center because it offers lots of different aspects of an art experience. The galleries offer a look at a lot of finished products. You also have the school and the studio programming, so that say you see something really awesome in the gallery, and then you can go learn how to do that process yourself.
Whether you're young or old, want to appreciate the art, or make some art for yourself, Hyde Park Art Center is the most artistically and culturally diverse spaces in the city of Chicago, and is definitely a place you're going to want to check out.
I would say that it just is a really fun place to experience art, and it doesn't take itself too seriously. Just this surprising experience.
What a great place to visit. I think I'll have to get down there sometime and brush up on my painting skills, no pun intended. The Hyde Park Art Center is located at 5020 South Cornell Avenue and is open 7 days a week. For more information, you can visit them on the web at www.hydeparkart.org. The Hyde Park Art Center is also your place you'll definitely want to visit and check it out if you want to know more about art. Up next, we'll explore the go-to place for the finest Caribbean cuisine in Hyde Park, so don't go away.